Welcome back to Story Sensei. Today I'm going to explain a romance comedy film called Virgin Territory. Spoilers will follow. Keep an eye out and be cautious as the film begins. With the scene of a man painting in a church, he tells us that he has been painting for a long time but has never made any money, so he goes to the church father to ask for money. But when he arrives, he discovers that the father has died as a result of a disease. Knowing this, he is very disappointed because he will no longer receive his money. Then he notices the father's dress and goes to get it. He makes the decision to become a father while wearing it because the father has an abundance of everything, including money and respect. Then we see Lorenzo, who is trying to escape from Gerbino, and he eventually succeeds in escaping. Gerbino then orders his accomplice to capture Lorenzo no matter what. Lorenzo's friends then give him a horse and tell him to leave the city, and Lorenzo does the same. Following this, we see a girl named Pampina crying because her parents died as a result of the plague. Diseased Gerbino appears and sympathizes with her, asking what she plans to do next. Pampina informs him that the King of Russia will be visiting soon and that she will marry him. Gerbino tells Pampina that her father had taken on too much debt from him and that since he went ahead and told her that if she wanted to save her parents' house, she will need to marry him. Lorenzo, on the other hand, is running. Gerbino's bodyguards were pursuing him. Meanwhile, he encounters a man who was deaf and dumb. The man tells Lorenzo that he used to work as a gardener nearby but has since quit. Tells Lorenzo that if he becomes dumb and deaf, he will go there to become a gardener or he will be saved from Gerbino's guards. Then he climbs a tree and Gerbino's guards move ahead. But then a branch of the tree breaks and Lorenzo crashes in and faints. The nuns then approach him and take him to church. And this was perfectly where they needed a gardener. The two nuns then began to tease Lorenzo by knocking him out. Lorenzo has made a full recovery at this point, but he does nothing. After that, the head of the nuns arrives, and the nuns inform the man that he is dumb and deaf, and later, while Lorenzo was taking a bath, two nuns arrived and joined him. We can see why the nuns wanted a dumb, deaf gardener here by looking at him. So that if the nuns do anything with him because he is dumb, he will be unable to tell anyone. After that, we see Palma in a church with her friends and their boyfriends. This is where Pampina informs them that she has a second home in the city where she will marry Russia's king. Pampina invites everyone to come over. Gerbino appears and approaches Pampina. Pampina lies about what she was talking about, claiming that they were simply praying. Because the king of Russia will commit Omari Pampina here, and Pampina did not want to be with Gerbino, she devises a plan to stay in the church. However, it was the same church where Lorenzo works as a gardener. The rest of Paige's friends then leave to pay her a visit. Next, while two nuns are preparing Pampina, she sees Lorenzo in the church. The nuns smile then explain that he works as a gardener here and is dumb and deaf after a while. A nun led Lorenzo alone ya Peruvi woods. Oh, the woods. Pampina notices them but has no idea what is going on. At the same time, we can see that Pampina is very jealous after witnessing all of this. King Dzieciński, arriving at the palace, Gerbino on the other hand informs him that Pampina has decided to marry him. Knowing this, Dzieciński leaves. However, a man outside informs him that Pampina is waiting for him in another house in the city. Then Dzieciński departs with his comrades to go there. Lorenzo, on the other hand, was in his room when two nuns brought him food. Actually, they knew what the rest of the nuns did to Lorenzo, and the nuns wanted to do the same to him, and Lorenzo agreed. The next day, when Pampina was walking with two nuns carrying hot water for Lorenzo, she then tells the nuns that whatever you're doing to Lorenzo is a sin. The nun responds that there is nothing wrong with that and that she is simply jealous. Pampina becomes upset and pours hot water directly on Lorenzo's head. We can see from this that Pampina has developed feelings for Lorenzo. Meanwhile, as Dzieciński prepared to meet with Pampina, Gerbino and his guards attacked him. During the attack, all of Dzieciński's companions are killed, but Dzieciński escapes. Pampina's feelings for Lorenzo were growing stronger. Pampina overhears Lorenzo singing a song one day. As a result, she realizes she is not deaf but rather dumb, and one day she goes to feed Lorenzo by herself. Had covered his face at the time, so Lorenzo didn't know which nun it was. Then Pampina blindfolds him, kisses him, and departs, but this thing makes Lorenzo very happy. It's time for Pampina to leave after a few days, but before leaving, she informs the head nun said that Lorenzo is not dumb or deaf and that he has been acting since the beginning. Actually, Pampina did it because she did not want to see Lorenzo with any other nun. Now that the head nun is aware of it, she fires Lorenzo right away. Lorenzo was sitting outside. When Pampina passed by, Lorenzo requested that Pampina take him along, and Pampina Zazinski, on the other hand, sees a girl underwater and then begins speaking to her. Yajinski informs her that he's going to marry a woman named Pampina. Hearing this, the girl lies and claims to be Pampina because, although Zazinski has never seen Pampina, he believes her words, and Zazinski likes the girl a lot as well. Lorenzo and Pampina, on the other hand, arrive at his house. Lorenzo tells her that he genuinely loves her while they are chatting and that he will marry the woman who blindfolded his eyes that day. Pampina asked him how he would recognize the girl. When he hadn't even seen her face, Lorenzo declares that he will find her and marry her by any means, so Pampina tells him that if he kisses someone else, he will forget about her, and that if he is unsure, let him kiss her and see if Pampina actually wished for Lorenzo to discover that she had blindfolded him that day. Lorenzo was getting closer to Pampina when Gerbino arrived with his guards and Lorenzo mentioned fighting with him. When the fight starts, Lorenzo can't stand Gerbino, but Pampina stops him before Gerbino kills him, and declares that she will not marry Gerbino if something bad happens to Lorenzo. Gerbino stopped fighting. Lorenzo suspects Gerbino after hearing this for a while of assassinating Lorenzo at any time, so she tells Gerbino that they should marry right away. At the same time, she informs him that after marriage he will be required to leave Lorenzo. Gerbino thinks about it and deploys 2 of his guards to fetch his father. This was the same fake father we saw at the start of the movie. Then after the father arrived, we noticed him having a conversation with Pampina. So Pampina gives money to the father and advises him to stop the wedding. As a result, the father delays the wedding as much as possible and also agrees to do so in exchange for money. 2 of Gerbino's guards go to let Lorenzo loose in the woods. The guards had planned to kill Lorenzo, but Lorenzo killed them first when he saw Tajinski on his way to Papanet's house. He decides to follow the same direction. Pampina and Gerbino on the other hand are set to marry during this time, but father begins to delay the marriage at the request of Pampina. Gerbino becomes angry as a result, so he scares the father with his sword, and asks him to marry them as soon as possible. Out of fear, the father begins the wedding. After that, Jiginski arrives, and Gerbino takes off running after seeing the gun in Jiginski's hand. Lorenzo arrives at the same time, and the 2 of them kill all of Gerbino's guards together. Jiginski eventually fights Gerbino alone, and when Gerbino is unable to stand in front of him, his sword falls to the ground just then, and Lorenzo asks to fight Gerbino on this, as Zazinski tells Lorenzo that if you can't kill him, he will Gerbinato, then begins fighting Lorenzo while standing at the well. Gerbino, however, falls into the well during the fight and dies as a result. After all of this, Pampina arrives and informs Suzinski that she will not marry him because she is in love with Lorenzo. When Zazinski sees the face of Pampina, he tells her that she is not the Pampina he met in the lake and that he wants to marry the same Pampina in the meantime. From behind the girl from the lake, appears the girl, however, is none other than Pampina's friend Melissa Yasinski, who is overjoyed to see Melissa because he loves her a lot. Then Philippa turned to Lorenzo and proposed to him. Lorenzo, on the other hand, says he wants to marry the same girl who blindfolded his eyes that day. Hearing this, Pampina requests that Lorenzo kiss her. He realizes when Lorenzo kisses her that the girl who blindfolded him that day is Pam, and he agrees to marry her, and the movie ends here. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel.